My name is Carrie Simms. I am the Chief of Staff, the CFO, and the Director of Federal Affairs for the American Family Business Institute. And the American Family Business Institute primarily focuses on tax issues related to small family farmers, business owners, entrepreneurs throughout America. We've been in business, so to speak, for about 14 years. I came to the Institute in 2003. I was recruited by our president, Dick Patton. And Dick and I are both former business owners, and the primary issue that we focus on is what's commonly referred to as the death tax and officially referred to as the estate tax. One of the reasons why Dick and I both got involved with this is because of our concern for the longevity of family businesses. We really feel that family businesses, entrepreneurs are really under assault, and one of the entities that is hurting entrepreneurs and small business owners more than really any other entity is the federal government by regulation, excessive taxation, and making it very, very difficult for a lot of small businesses and farms to survive. And the death tax is one of the most critical issues that really impacts our community, the people that we represent, because the estate tax currently is zero, which is the first time it's been at zero since 1916. It's been as high as 70% prior to Reagan becoming president. And at that time, capital gains was also 28%. So when you start combining a federal estate tax of 70% with a capital gains of 28%, there isn't really much left over. You've got 2% left over for business owners, which we saw those types of increases under President Carter. And under President Bush in 2001, one of the first things he did as President of the United States was to sign a tax relief package that included relief on the estate tax. And in that bill, basically the estate tax was phased out over a period of time. So at the time that President Bush became president in 2000, the estate tax was a $1 million exemption and a rate of 55%, which meant that any American who had an estate worth over $1 million, when they died and their children inherited their estate, that their heirs would pay basically a rate of 55% on the valuation of their estate of everything over $1 million. So they got a $1 million break, and then beyond that, they were taxed at 55%, which you can imagine for the small business community, this is very confiscatory and very debilitating. So for me, as a young 20-year-old, living with my grandmother, knowing how hard she worked for everything she had, and that the wealth that they created and amassed over their life was a result of hard work, frugality, and sacrifice. And for the federal government to believe that they had a right not only to 55% of everything my grandparents had earned and saved, but also the fact that they would show up at our door 3 days after my grandmother's death and felt they had a right to also assess her jewelry, her TV, her nylons, everything that the federal government views your assets and my assets as theirs, that they're just on loan to us, and that when we die, everything reverts back to the state. Well, what is that? Where does that mindset come from? It comes from Karl Marx. The third tenet of the Communist Manifesto is the abolition of all inheritance. Karl Marx believed that if you are going to control a society, you have to take away their wealth. You have to take away the entrepreneurial spirit. And that is really the impact of the estate tax. It destroys the spirit of entrepreneurialism. One of the projects that I'm working on, along with William Owen, who's going to be speaking right after me, is a project called I Want Your Money. And that you've each got a flyer. And one of the reasons why I agreed to work on this project, along with everything else that I'm already doing and everything that William Owen is already doing, is that we really believe in this film. And one of the reasons why we believe in this film is because this film is talking about the differences between socialism and capitalism, and why it's so important for Americans to really understand the difference. And in this next election, one of the questions that Americans really need to ask themselves: are we going to continue to be a capitalist nation, or are we willing to succumb to becoming a socialist country? And what are the ramifications of this? This movie is a 1.5 hour long documentary looking at the values of Ronald Reagan and what he fought for as president, and what our current administration supports and believes in. It's a movie that's entertaining and fun, but very sobering as well. And the production team that Bill and I are working with are really some of the best producers in Hollywood. And what happened is basically a group of very, very talented and accomplished producers and filmmakers in Hollywood said, enough is enough. We are capitalists. We believe in capitalism. We believe in the greatness of our country. We are Reagan Republicans, and we're coming out of the closet. And we don't care if the rest of the Hollywood establishment blackballs us, banishes us, destroys our careers. We are going to courageously put together a film that addresses this issue. And so we'd love to talk with you afterwards a little bit more about the film. I have trailers that I can give to you that you can take home and share with your friends and your family. We put the trailer up on YouTube about a month ago. We've already had over 2 million hits on this film. We really are in the battle of our lives. And if America ceases to be a capitalist nation, we're destroyed from within. Rome was not destroyed in a day, but it was destroyed because of the lack of courage and moral fiber of its people. And what makes America great is the entrepreneurial spirit, a dependence not upon their government, but a dependence upon God.